Lou Barnes.
Present.
Joseph Costello. Present. Larry Rocco, present. Chris Christoph.
Present.
Natalia Franklin.
Present.
Okay. Randall is our new property manager, and would you please verify that the meeting had been posted on a timely notice of the meeting?
It has been posted.
Okay. All right, now the approval of the minutes from our last meeting. Natalia didn't have a chance to type them, but she will. You said you'd send us an audio we could listen to.
Yeah, but Mary Lou told that she will do minutes.
What?
Okay.
I never said I'd do the minutes.
Last time that you, because of nobody told me.
I have no
that-
ability to do the minutes. I don't have a computer at home or a typewriter or anything.
Okay, well, we'll have to work that out, but we'll get them done one way or another, and we will
We need a
approve
secretary
them
is what
at our
we need.
annual meeting.
We need a secretary, period.
Okay.
Mr. Walker, okay.
The president's report is
Huh?
going to be short and sweet because we went from our previous management company, GRS Management. At our last meeting, we voted on and approved to go self-managed. Now, hopefully this will save us some money, but I'm not so sure when we find out everything that we need. The original intent was to save us money, I thought. But nevertheless, we'll deal with it. We'll make it. We're trying to get the assessments under control. I'm sure everybody wants to see them come down, but you can't maintain a community of 524 units and keep it in a condition where people would want to move here and pay more money for the property. And I think what we've done in the past 3 years is fairly obvious. If you drive down Village Boulevard and once you cross the canal, look at the difference of the northern and where we are now. I mean, a lot's been accomplished. I'm going to go through all that at the annual meeting, but we've done a lot in the past 3 years. That costs money. We have a very bad situation regarding concrete that needs to be corrected, and we have to come up with a 3-year plan. I believe we thought was possible, Mary Lou? A 3-year
Yeah, 3 or
plan.
4 year plan we talked about, yes.
But we have to.
So we wouldn't have to assess people. That
Right.
was our goal, was not to have to assess homeowners.
But in 2019, we spent $100,000 on Saratoga North. So fixing and repairing and replacing concrete. So
But if you divide that by 524 per month, it's not outrageous when you think of it that way.
no, but we have probably another 500,000 to
Well,
spend.
so do it 100,000 for the next 4 years
Yeah.
and let that board worry about what to do next.
Right. Okay, we currently don't have a treasurer, so we can't have a treasurer's report, but we will have one next month. We're not in that bad a shape financially. We are still putting money in reserves. We used a lot of money that was in reserves, but we now have one reserve account instead of 2. Makes more sense. So we're ready for the manager's report, and that's Randall Andersen, former board member, has his CAMS license, and took on the responsibility to manage the association. I think he's going to do an outstanding job. Nobody knows the community any better than Randall. And he's got a vested interest in our property. So that's why we feel if we have a resident as our property manager, he'll take more pride and care and do things on a more timely basis than somebody who's just here as their job. So Randall, tell us what's going on.
Where do I begin? And how much time do you have?
I was just gonna say,
Well, we're dedicating the meeting tonight to this, and at the end, I do want to address one item that Mary Lou had brought up to my attention, and that is the fact that we voted on removing 5 of these ficus trees that are doing the most damage. There's a total of 14 or 19?
there were 19 originally.
19 originally.
Right.
18.
Well, 18, one
18.
wasn't a ficus, I
The
think.
ones that we had picked out.
Yeah,
There was
yeah.
4 and then 2 other, like, different kinds
But
of
we
trees.
did vote to remove at least 5. We don't want to strip the community of our greenery,
Well, there was 6.
but
Yeah,
we're,
it's 6.
whatever it is, 5 or
Yeah.
6, we're going to remove them, but they will be replaced with other trees that are going to be more conducive to our environment.
Well, the big thing for those of you who may not know is that ficus trees' roots spread out. They grow out along the surface of the ground seeking water. That's what damages our concrete, our parking spaces, etc. And there are trees like oaks and other trees that the roots grow straight down, maples, other trees. And so those are the trees that will have the same growth and shade and beauty, but their trunk and their roots will be less damaging to our property.
Right, which are more conducive to our environment.
Can you hold to your time? Okay, all right, sorry.
I'm sorry, it's not this time.
No, it's okay, we just have to keep going here.
Okay, and one other thing I wanted to point out to people, and we'll bring it up again at the annual meeting, but in our last meeting, we also voted on and approved a 5-member board from 7 to 5. It's tough enough to get 5, and when we had a 7-member board, we had a couple of meetings that we couldn't do anything because we didn't have a quorum of the board members. So it's funny the way it works, but with 5 board members, we only need 3 to have a quorum. With 7, we needed 4. And if we only had 5, and if 2 were out, we didn't have a quorum. So we reduced the board members to 5. Okay, Randall, I'm sorry.
Well, it's certainly been a whirlwind transition so far. And of course, we didn't get a whole lot of cooperation from GRS, previous management company, but Jeannie, the accountant and I have been attached at the hip. I've spent an enormous amount of time helping her in dealing with her challenges. That has to do with the banks and BB&T being the worst participant in this, and of course with the lack of things that GRS did not do to help in the process has really messed us up. A lot of homeowners, there might even be 1 or 2 sitting in here that are wondering, I need a refund. Because, their automatic payments have been taken out twice, even though GRS said it wasn't going to happen on their end, but they didn't send in the form to BB&T to cancel all ACH. And so when they subsequently, got letters from our accountant early December to set up with the new system, they did so with the assurance from GRS that they wouldn't be charged, on their end. And of course they were. So it's been kind of a nightmare with that, but, it's getting squared away. A lot of things I'm dealing with right now as far as readiness is, which I just got yesterday from the attorney, is we're revamping our sales and lease application process to be more streamlined, be more concise. I got a lot of stuff dumped on my lap from GRS phone calls ringing off the hook just from people that were submitting applications last month that nothing was being done with. And so when I get it spread out all the leases and stuff on the table and look, they're all different. I mean, it's like mind-blowing how different they all were. So anyway, we streamlined it. Still got a little tweaking to do, right, Larry? A little tweaking.
Little bit on the sales.
So we're getting that. That's going to be a nice, smooth process from now on. Gosh, I can't even begin to think of what else I've been going through. The office that wasn't quite ready, but it's pretty much up and going now. And of course, this mass mailing that we had to scramble to get out on time, which we did. So that's good. That's a big check box.
And by the way, I want to thank Natalia.
If it wasn't for Natalia, it would not have been done.
8 hours of my time for 2 days.
Because I only got
paper cuts.
Because I only received the papers that are actually, this is the package right here, plus another envelope, a return envelope for proxies that have to be stuffed into another envelope and all have to be labeled, self-addressed, stamped.
Been there, know
So
about that.
I just got these papers from the attorney 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So it was a scramble to get the printing done, so I don't even have a printer. Well, actually, I bought a printer for the office, but it only arrived Tuesday. As far as I got was taking it out of the box. But the office suite that we have, they have a community printer, so it's networked, and you're able to do big job. Well, I would have used it for this job anyway, as big as this was. So, but that was a big checkbox off. That's done. Now I can start getting organized. Even though I've been burning the midnight oil for the last 2 weeks, it's been crazy. Up till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, up again at 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, just running all day long. No eating, no sleeping, and just.
Have there been any calls, Randall, from people that haven't gotten their coupons, those that are paying by coupon?
Yes. Yeah. So we had to, and because of wrong info, I was telling Steve, I noticed, because now today, or the last 2 days, most of yesterday and all of today, I get the data that's, has been carried, forward from previous management companies, and I get to see firsthand what we're dealing with. And just myself, because I do know the community, and I don't know 524 owners, but I know quite a few, and as I'm coming across stuff, I'm like, well, that person's deceased. This one, is renting their place. I know he doesn't live there. This one, has a, out-of-state address that they know they live here now. You've got all kinds of stuff that's just not accurate. So that doesn't help when you don't have accurate information. I have had a few calls that they haven't received their coupon books. I've got a stack of coupon books in my car right now that were returned. A couple of them were phone calls, so I'm going to be dropping them off. Actually, tomorrow I could start, delivering a few things to people. Others, it's just the wrong addresses. And for the most part, we're trying to encourage people to pay online. It's just the easiest thing to do for everybody involved. But there's people that just want to do it old school, send in a check, and that's fine. Like I said, I get flooded with phone call. The phone does not stop ringing. That are asking me about accounting information, so I know what's going on, and I know I can answer their questions, but I really shouldn't have to, because, those questions should go with Jeannie, but I'm trying to help her out too, so, like I said, we're attached at the hip, we're emailing each other at 11:30 midnight, to get, that's how it is. Her hair's on fire, my hair's on fire, but and I expected this, so it's not like, it's not it's going to be smooth once things get organized. It's just this transition, is, a little nutty. And
Well, it's a big transition when you don't get any help from the company that we paid a lot of money to manage us.
they
And
really
we're scrambling. I know what needs to be done, but then I have to convey it to Randall. Then we have to try to find it in the information that we did get from GRS, and if we can't find it, we have to create it from scratch again. So that's what he and I have been doing.
Well, and for example, this is the first meeting that I can remember where we don't have the current financials.
Exactly.
In other words,
and that was
the
the other thing.
December,
I
end of the
even-
year financials, we don't have them.
I even
And it's
asked.
the 16th of the month,
I
yeah.
even said what's today, Thursday?
Yeah.
I might have said a Monday or maybe last Friday.
Friday, yeah.
To Karen, who's this GRS's quote-unquote transition director. That's her sole job, to help in transitions such as this. And she has been very helpful. She kind of messed me up back in December a little bit, but I've met her face to face, and I'm convinced she's not here to hurt us, where I can feel the rest of the company
Well, the
is trying to
corporate,
sabotage
yeah.
us. But what was I saying? That she.
The financials.
Oh, the financials. So I said to her last week, said, Karen, please, the financials are due to be finished. Like, I'm trying to say, like, they should be now. Like, that was last week, right? But I know their habit was to get us the financials either the day before our meeting or the last couple months, the day of the meeting. Well, she's like, oh, absolutely. And I said, please send them to myself and Jeannie.
But here's the meeting
They're
and we
due,
don't have them.
And here we are today.
And those are the end of the year financials, the most important financials of all
And this
the
is why
year.
we're not with them.
Have we paid it, Bill?
Because of
Well,
paid-
I waited right to the end of the last check approval, like December 27th, 8th. Because we had to clear the system, their system of what was in there.
I understand.
And I held on to that because Larry didn't know I held on to it, but I held on to that, and I asked him, I said, Larry, I'm not, paying that. And he's like, yeah, no, don't pay that. And then finally, it got to the point where we had to,
Well, and then today, we had bills due to be paid, and Center State Bank had me as the final signature on the check. I said, why? I approve the invoices. I don't need to sign the checks.
Right.
Jeannie needs to
Yeah.
electronically pay all this stuff.
Well, it would be your electronic signature,
So
right?
I had
Not
to
your
work
physical.
that out. Then
Yeah.
I had to get a statement from Center State that I had to sign and take up, and then Jeannie needed to sign it. And then, I had to sign checks today also because she wasn't authorized yet, and the bank couldn't do it that quick. So now they got the form. We should be okay.
Okay.
But this is all these bumps in the road that we're finding out are there.
Look, it's only
So-
30 days ago that we learned
Right.
Oh, yeah.
GRS
Well,
was
and
dumping
then
us.
the intent
So it's a lot of
was,
work in 30 days, a lot of
but
work.
the intent was to phase GRS out
Yes, of course.
and do this slowly so that we didn't have this to contend with. But GRS had other plans for us. If we took away our accounting, they didn't want to manage us, period. So they dropped us.
And,
But I'm
So,
sure
I mean-
I'll give them a good recommendation.
And, so I knew it was going to be, a tough transition, especially, thrown into service so quickly, a couple week notice that, okay, this is what we got to do. It's going to be fine. I actually, now that we've got streamlined lease and sale process in place, that's a huge thing because, the phone rings off the hook. I got people that come into the office already, they're, that are knocking on the door and, they have stuff. I got realtors calling, wanting to know the process. There's all kinds of stuff. So that's a big thing. The banking thing's a big thing. And then once we get all that stuff, then I could start, doing what I, am here to do. Get vendors set up and, just do everything that's organize myself so I can make this a well-oiled machine, which it will be. It just takes a little time
It's
to
going to
get.
take 3 months before we catch our breath.
I'm
of
hoping
course.
sooner than that, but yeah, I mean, it
Well,
could.
but
I mean,
realistically,
it takes time to organize. I'm a
course.
highly
You have
organized
to have a
person.
routine. You have to have
I'm a
a
highly
routine.
organized person. It just takes time to get
Sure.
to that.
Have you met with the landscapers?
Not as of yet.
No, I have offered to, you know that. I mean, I'm happy to meet
I
them.
can probably start getting, I told them I wanted to meet with them probably last week, but it's been a crazy.
Well, I'm
I
happy
haven't
to
been
meet
able
with
to.
them if you don't have
No,
the time.
definitely we need to meet with them
Right.
because there's a lot of things I need to discuss with them. There's, weed problem. They're hacking up the hedges.
I'll bet you $100 they did not mow my lawn a week ago.
I sent you. By the
Yeah.
way, when
No,
I
and
when
Larry
they
told
updated,
me, it's a big lie. They did not mow my lawn last week.
well, on the 7th and 8th, the 2 days, I had
Trust
them
me, my
changed.
grass is this tall and so are
But
the
what-
weeds.
We plan to take another company, right?
Well, eventually,
Why
but first
you need
we have
talk
to,
with them?
well, we're paying them to mow the lawn. If they didn't mow 51st last week, and now they're not mowing it this week because we made a change in the schedule, which I understand, then we paid them to mow 51st Way and 50th Way, and they didn't do it. They did some edging. The edging guys came and edged, but the grass is this tall. And the weeds.
That's why I had them come a
unbelievable.
week early, because it had been 3 weeks since they were here.
That's
And then
right.
they had us scheduled for mid-January.
That's right. That's right.
And
No,
I
what
told-
you did was right.
And I told David, our former property manager,
Right.
don't have them come in to do the trimming of the hedges until mid-January because of Christmas lights.
Yeah, and I love the new growth on
Well,
the
David told them not to come in to mid-January. So I had Randall, and
Yeah.
Randall says, well, they couldn't because they already got the schedule made out. I says, do you want me to call them, or you call them and tell them, we want them in here, they should have known better.
Right, right.
So they came and they were here 2 days, so I thought that they did it all, but you're saying they didn't do it?
Well, what I saw last week as I left for work, the truck was parked down in the entranceway to 50th, 51st. And there was just the one little tiny Hispanic guy that's, 4'11", and he was just with his machine that does the edging. So nowhere on 51st was the lawnmower, the guy in the mower. I went to 50th, no mower, just another guy edging. So to the best of my knowledge, they never cut the grass.
Okay, we
And the
can-
fact it's this tall tells me,
Alright, so
well,
we'll-
but we're paying for
we'll
it, that's
address
why.
that.
Yeah, we
We'll
need
address
to,
it.
we need to.
And we
address
need
it.
to reduce what we pay them then.
I think they owe us a cutting. Maybe not all over, but definitely,
And they'll be back the 21st and 22nd.
yeah.
All right, but see, some other things we had to do is we had to get insurance, liability insurance for the office
Right.
and for Randall.
Right, right.
So I had to,
But we already have, they already covered officers, and you remember? We covered
D&O
them.
insurance covers the board, not the
Not the
property
property
manager.
manager.
No, but they have a lot of, about manager, you remember we talked about that, that's our management has own insurance. We need to go through again, because so we don't overpay for them, I don't know.
There was something about that discussed.
Yeah,
when-
about
with Hartzell.
computers,
With
about so
Hartzell,
many.
Hartzell,
Yeah, yeah.
when they were here, there was some discussion
A lot
about,
of that they cover management and computer and
yeah, there was some coverage.
This is who we went through, was Hartzell. And
Right.
I gave Randall the policies to hold on to and put them in the office.
This is November and December, I have no idea. Oh, here's GRS's last letter. I have no idea if I have Hartzell in here, but I don't remember what month. Yeah, here, Hartzell. Commercial Insurance Program.
yeah, they have a lot of questions.
Well, the $625 might be just for the office, but I know I saw your name on there, so we'll
that-
check it out.
That was, for the liability for the office.
Okay.
But
There was an enhancement endorsement.
Right.
Well, I think someone needs to review
Yeah,
this.
review because it was
You're right,
questionable.
you're right.
Yeah,
This
and,
needs to be reviewed
You
versus
remember
what you've now
we
taken
had argument
extra.
about that is our management covered by insurance? Why we're paying for that extra money? Do you remember that maybe he's covered already? Because the insurance company always try to take maximum what possible.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who the property manager is. It's
Yeah.
the property manager.
They can be just a name, yeah.
Okay, so we'll have it checked.
Very
Yeah, well, we
important
all have a
to check.
copy of this.
Right.
We each have it. So review that and see, there's so many to read, it would take too long now, but
Now, there is one thing we need to vote on as a board. Well, there's a couple things. First of all, do we want to charge application fees for buyers? There's costs that we incur as an association when people want to buy a unit in there. The property management companies were charging $250.
We haven't charged anything for sales.
Well, I think that we need to change that.
what was
because
CAM's charging?
$250?
Well,
Or GRS was, I believe.
Well, no, GRS never officially managed us. CAM's ended December 31st.
Well, it was their CAM's contract. but
Right, CAM's is
GRS managed us and they
But it was
abided
CAM's
to-
contract, yeah.
They followed CAM's contract.
So they charged
Actually, they
$250.
charged, I think it was 150. 250 was the other association when she came in. I
Oh,
said,
okay.
250.
150.
Damn, I go, we're getting hosed over here. But,
$150 per. Okay.
no, we're talking about just sales now.
No,
Yeah,
we're
right,
just the
per
sales
sale,
contract.
per
Like,
sale.
because the whole thing is, there's not really much to process, because we can't disapprove them. We do have to get their information, like, the car registration and the fact that they, read and understand that, they have to abide by our bylaws, that kind of thing.
Right.
But you can't disapprove the sale. But then today, I'm sitting there and we're talking to Larry, and like, if we got to be able to charge something to cover costs, because a lot of things get emailed. Like, I got a ton, I'm dealing with applications, right? Some are in my hand, and then I'm going through them, and I have to tell them what their deficiencies are. Hey, you're missing this, I need this. Okay, well, then they email it. Well, first of all, I don't want an email, but in today's day and age, that's kind of what it is faster, more efficient, but I got to print that. Well, that's our cost, that's our ink, that's our paper.
And if you have to mail anything, postage, etc.
So that's why, at first I thought, okay, well, there's, I could see where you wouldn't be charging
And
kind of a
to
processing
the
fee or
best
something,
of
but
your-
to cover costs, there should be a nominal, even if it was $50.
Well, to the best of your knowledge, other HOAs that you've spoken with or are familiar with charge a fee.
$250, $350, $500, $100, $150. It's not free. Never, anywhere. Any application.
I think 150 is fair.
No,
but
we need to charge less. Why
Well,
I
no,
would
because
think
the
less.
others are charging $250, $350. I mean, I think,
I mean, the tenants are a different story. That they get
Yeah,
charged
well,
for
tenants, that's
background,
another story.
because
The
that's the other thing.
background
Because we're
check
not
and
doing a
everything.
background check on buyers.
right.
So that's
exactly.
why there's not those costs involved.
we
So
should
$100.
charge only nominal fee.
Yeah, no less
I
than,
think we're being suckers if we charge $100.
so do I. 150, I think
Well,
is
I know
fair.
when I was looking at homes down 4 years ago, each unit that I went to, where I had an application to purchase and I had to file paperwork with the HOA, the minimum I spent was $150.
That's what I'm saying.
So
Minimum.
150 is fair.
I think it's more than fair.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a starting place, and if we find that it isn't practical, then we vote to raise it 6 months, 9 months, a year from now. But
Yeah.
it's a starting place, and I think it's fair. I mean, someone's buying
Make
a
a
place
motion.
for 200,000, so 150 fee is fair to me.
Well, okay. You want to make the
I'll
motion?
make the motion. Make a motion that we charge on sales a $150 fee for paperwork processing.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Natalia?
I not agree.
Hmm?
I thought it should be
Okay, but
charged
you're
lower.
saying yes?
I know, yeah.
Okay. It's unanimous.
Okay.
I thought $50
not
could be good.
She voted
Okay,
no.
now
That's
the
not
other
unanimous.
issue we
Oh, you
have,
voted no.
No, I vote no, but because if I want, so they charge people less, so what I want.
Oh, all right. So the vote carried 4-1.
4-1. I know when I moved into Stonehaven 18 years ago, it cost me $500.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So, all right, so the other issue we have, and I spoke to Rawson about it, and then Randall spoke to Rawson about it, is background checks. And Rawson recommended a company to me, and Randall says, well, what's wrong with the company that I use? It's the same type thing. I said, well, call Rawson. Rawson doesn't think our property manager, especially since he's employed by us, the association,
That's right.
should be collecting fees for background checks.
That's not what he said.
That ties you into it.
That's not what he said.
Well, no, that is what he said, because when you told me he said he had no problem using the company that you wanted to use,
Right.
I called him and he said, I have no problem with him using that company.
Right.
But Randall shouldn't be doing it, Larry. I told you.
What do you mean?
It ties you into the association, and God forbid somebody gets in here.
It doesn't tie me to
And,
the association.
it does. The mere fact you're collecting the fee ties you in, makes you part of that process.
In other words,
I'll have Rawson explain it at the annual meeting.
Okay.
Because he told me, if, God forbid, somebody gets in here and there's a pedophile and it rapes somebody's child, we will never have enough money to pay that lawsuit because he was part of the process.
No, that's not what he said to me.
Well, that's-
he's saying because he said
Randall,
he
you're
said,
misunderstanding
no,
it because
he
I
said-
had him explain
he
it to
even
me
said
3
that
times.
you misunderstood.
No.
He said that you thought that I was the one physically conducting a background check.
No,
and I'm not.
No,
It's a
no. You're collecting the fee as a property manager for us.
just
That-
like GRS does, just like CAMS does, just like
Right.
any property management in the
All
country.
right, so we'll let Rawson explain
I
it.
think
I'm not going to
let's-
argue
Yeah,
over it.
let's not vote on anything.
We're not going to vote tonight, but I'm
Right.
going to have
Let's
him.
elaborate
That's
on
going to
that.
be
Let's
part
look
of
at-
the.
My
meeting.
brief opinion is that, yes, we have to realize that now that Randall, although he's a homeowner and the former board member treasurer, he is now in the employment of the association, as you said earlier.
Right.
So we have to be very clear that there's a line between what the board of directors is authorized to do.
I would be negligent if I
and what
allowed
the
it
property manager can do.
and we get sued.
Yeah,
And whose fault?
I-
It's everybody's pointing fingers at me. But
I'm leaning
if it's
toward
okay,
conservative. Let's.
Then who does the background check?
the company does the background check.
Right, and they
And
are.
answers to the
Excuse me,
association.
please.
When people sue today, it's the
Right.
shotgun effect. The more they spread out, the more money they collect. So if Randall is the one collecting the fee and then paying a fee, some of that money that he collects to the background check company, and they let something slip, then they're going to say, well, it would have never happened if he would have used a different company, or he got paid on this, he's partly responsible. I'm telling you, I know how
What you
lawsuits work.
propose?
I got
What
a
you
very
propose?
legal
So
mind.
we'll let Rawson decide.
So
the
let
legality.
Rawson, we'll bring it up at the annual meeting and let him explain it.
But who will collect money for background check now? To
We
explain
hire a
who?
company to do that, and it's that's
It's $75 per person.
Right.
Per person, and they pay to us, or who they
Well, they
pay?
would be paying it to Randall, then Randall, because he has a program, and then he would have to pay some of it to the background check company.
Yeah,
But
now,
meanwhile,
now
shouldn't
if
it go to the accounting company? Shouldn't the payment go to accounting, and they account for it? They're the ones
Only if
that
they're
are.
making the check out to us.
No, but they're all money coming into our community or going out of our community is being done by the bookkeeping company.
Not if it's paid to Randall. She's not.
Well, but you're
Randall-
just saying now
But
you
you
don't
told that
think
they
it
will
should
not
be
pay
paid
to
to
Randall.
Randall. That
Now
it
you
should be
say what you will
paid
do.
to the association, not to Randall.
Because you
Well,
tell
it
that
costs
Randall
Randall
cannot.
money, so who's going to pay Randall?
You just say that Randall
you
cannot
got me
collect.
confused
Can you
now.
explain?
got me
You just say
confused.
that Randall
Yeah,
cannot
you got me
collect money.
confused.
Who
Well,
will
this
collect?
is
Rosser?
something that I'm very cautious about
Well, let's
because
get
I
it
don't
in
want
writing from
the
Ross.
association to
Have
be on the
Ross
hook.
write up a brief note.
Can I ask you a
And
question?
email
Yeah,
it
go,
to us.
all right, go ahead,
Randall.
Joe.
I'm not familiar how this works, so let me just pose a hypothetical. GRS was handling these claims and the paperwork regarding what you just
Background
discussed.
check.
Who did they send the check to when the people came in and filed the
They
paperwork?
would make the check out to
To
GRS.
GRS.
Right.
So, following that
That took
scenario,
us off the hook.
following that scenario, if there's a company that Randall is recommending that's going to handle this paperwork, the check would have to be made out to them, correct?
No.
No, it had to
I'm the one paying for it.
Okay, all right.
So
Okay.
they can make it out to my company, just, you can call me GRS, and it's the same thing.
Okay.
I'm not in
Then,
favor of
then
this.
I think we need to get Rossin to give us
Yes,
a clear
I'm not in
legal
favor.
opinion.
I'm
I'm
not-
telling you, Ross
And
is
he
not in
knows-
favor of it either, and I
I'm
don't
just
care what he
simply-
told you.
I'm just
I'll
simply
let him tell
stating,
you.
Why would he tell me different then? Because because when I spoke to him, he just said he's familiar with the company that he said Resident Check. He's familiar.
Yeah.
I told him, well, I use Rent Perfect. It's a
Yeah, he said that's a program that realtors use.
it's not a program. It's
Or
a
it's
company.
a
It's an
company.
What investigative screening company. That's
Okay, so
that's
it's
what
a-
they do.
it's a company.
exactly like what he knows, but that's just because he even heard of it. So
Yeah.
he said, I don't care what you use. It doesn't matter as long as I'm not the one physically going to a courthouse to do. I'm not doing background. I'm not an investigator. I'm not doing background checks. He said to me, "That's what you thought I was doing. I'm not doing
I never thought that
well,
was
that's
what
what
you
he
were doing.
thinks.
So
That's what he thinks. You
he's
thought.
gonna explain it in front of you and I, because he's saying one thing to you and another thing to me. So I'm gonna put him on the spot at the annual meeting.
Okay.
okay, we
Yeah.
clear that up, we can
So-
get forward with this thing. It's
Yeah,
not a big
yeah.
issue.
But
but-
let's-
but
It's the
I
I
have
am
no
not-
problem with you doing it, as long as we're not tied into it anyway.
But it's the same thing as any management company on earth. It's the same
But
thing.
you're working for us and you're doing.
So is GRS. So is CAMS. They're working
But
for
there are
us.
companies that are doing, but they collect the fee.
It's
GRS collects the fee.
Right. I'm collecting
And if
the
somebody
fee.
gets in
so
here,
far we're on the same.
they sue GRS, not us.
Okay.
But if you're our property
You're
manager,
employed
then
by us, you are a reflection of what
But-
happens.
but
that's what I'm saying.
Randall, you gotta understand this. You are a
GRS is employed by as well.
No,
It's the
it's
same thing.
No,
It's
it's
a
not.
different,
No, it's
there's
different.
there's not an arm's length here when you
different.
employ. You are not only a resident, you are as a resident, there is a responsibility that we as a board have to be sure that what liabilities you incur by doing this transaction with this company, okay, doesn't place us in harm's way if something wrong should happen.
Did you ask GRS that
Now,
same
I'm more
question?
concerned with, because if that's the case, then you would need to be bonded in a
That's
way
right.
that secures us.
That's
So
right.
we
Yeah,
don't
because
get in the
GRS
middle
is.
of that.
Right.
Let us lawyers.
So
and-
we'll
Without
say-
a bond, there's no way I'd have you handle that money.
Well, I could do that too.
Fine.
Okay.
I'll do
Well, we'll get, at the annual meeting, he'll lay out the procedure, I'll tell him to be prepared with it. And then he'll come and lay it out, and then we can vote on it there.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
fair. Okay.
All right. All right.
Randall was still speaking. I have one question that I'd like to ask
Okay.
him regarding things going on. Do we have an update on the fences, please? Is Mark still working on them? And what is the status of the other company who left us and all those
Status?
unfinished fences?
They're gone. He's done.
I understand that, but what's the status of the fences? We started in September of 18. This is January of 2020. We promised our owners they'd be done in a year. Well, we're
So-
way past a year, so I'm asking a simple question. Who has been hired or has been interviewed to replace the company that's gone to finish the last of the fences?
In the last 2 weeks.
In the last
Randall,
month.
didn't you say, I thought you said that you knew somebody that might, yeah.
Well, yeah, you mentioned a month ago at our last meeting that you had an idea about that. I'm just asking because I'm tired of meeting people in Publix and asking me when the fence is going to be painted. So I'm asking a question.
I did not finish for 2 weeks to paint all fences.
So, I mean,
I did get a contractor I met on Saturday,
Okay,
went over the scope of work with them.
okay,
He said he was going to give me a proposal, and I haven't received one yet.
okay. That's encouraging.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Dave also, when he was managing, was trying to find some contractors to help finish up the rest of this project. Nobody wants it. Okay. It's a very unique project in the sense that painters paint, but we got a combination of construction work and pressure cleaning and painting. Okay. These painters, they don't want it. Well, this guy, he seemed very excited about it. Like, oh yeah, go. You
How
know,
many fences are left to be done besides Mark's?
124.
I don't believe for 10 seconds that there isn't a company in Palm Beach County that wouldn't be happy to rebuild,
Okay, so why
restore
okay, so
124
why are you
fences.
telling me this though? I've taken over for
David
14
could
days.
not find.
For 14 days. Okay.
Yeah,
So
and David
Well,
couldn't
well,
find
well,
anybody
David
for
couldn't
4
find any
months.
either. So as far as the rest of this update that you're asking about, Mark, I had finished at 5:45 on New Year's Eve, right, December 31st,
Right.
on the very
I
last
know
building
that.
that I was going to do.
I
right.
know that.
So at that point that had me at 40 fences ahead of him. Okay.
Yeah, I understand that.
So he is painting those fences. All right. He's trying to find somebody because he wanted to put in money for what I had done. Like he wanted to put invoices in for what I had done, and I talked to Larry about it. I don't want to pay him for it until the fences are painted, right? Until they're finished.
Right.
So he had finished the one building. He finished Joe's fence because I had him go over there and take care of Joe's after all that time that it wasn't done. So that was 4 fences plus Joe's was 5. That invoice is still sitting there waiting because we have these banking, things to overcome. And
So you haven't
So-
heard from this guy?
so this
In-
other
in
guy,
a week.
and I told Mark all along, I said, we're trying to find somebody. Even Dave, like I said, Dave was trying to find people. Nobody wants it. This guy,
Have you talked to Rita Scott by any chance? Did you happen to think of her? That
No.
Because of
You
manic.
look at her fences.
Well, but she
Why
may
would-
have.
why would
well,
she?
but
Actually-
she may know of a company.
well, she did, and they gave us a bid, and
Oh.
we didn't choose them.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, then
So-
that's fine. That's fine. Okay, I'm just thinking. Okay.
Do
So-
you remember who it was? Are they still interested?
They probably
Okay.
might blow us off. now.
Is Mark capable of expanding the number of people working with him?
Well, he's he's trying. I guess he's gonna. Because I've been telling him about this since December.
Yeah, I talked to
So,
him about it. even.
Well,
Yeah,
I
he's
experienced, as you know, I experienced the delays that can be caused. And when they wanted to prep my fence, we had heavy rains. There was dampness each evening. You couldn't do anything to
Yeah,
put
after I pressure clean and put
Right.
more wood on your fence,
Right.
all of a sudden it rained for a week. Or if it didn't rain, it was so cloudy that it never dried the
It never
wood.
dried it out. Yeah, I know. So there is an inherent delay process that goes into this thing. But
It
at some
means-
point in time, we're going to need to address, because I do agree, we've got to kind of get a dent into that 124 number.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
And so this guy, I thought, cool, he's, might have somebody here.
All right,
And he was very
I'll work
excited
on-
about it.
Larry, I'll work on
He was
this.
very excited about it. And then that was Saturday. Today's Thursday. I still haven't received any kind of proposal from him.
I have 5 or 6 guys I know that are handymen that have worked
So-
for me on and off over the years, or for friends of mine.
They,
I'll call a few of them whose numbers I have and let them contact you.
But
Awesome.
this question, if this guy did not paint fences after you did work because of weather, why we cannot pay him because of it's not his fault that he could not
Oh, you're talking
paint
about Mark?
it.
No.
I'm talking about this guy, yeah.
What guy?
Mark.
No, Mark, it has nothing to do with weather. Mark just is slow and,
No,
we
but
got,
it
we
was
can't.
Mark's a
rain.
perfectionist.
It's not only, it's not.
No,
But
and
these
he,
weren't
and he
his
doesn't
fences.
show up till 10:30,
These were the
11 o'clock
fences
in the
that the
morning.
other company could not do.
No, I
He's
understand,
very-
but we talk about like around
But Mark,
If
you
we
wouldn't
pay
mind.
him,
They don't
he'll
want to
take
pay the
for
guy.
even longer.
You
We
know,
need
if-
to keep the fire on.
Yeah.
Who will
And
want
he
to
was a little
work for
upset.
if we don't pay
He was a
people?
little upset the other day when I told him.
No. Say speed it up and you'll get the
But,
money.
so he's got to get somebody out there to finish.
Yeah, we have
You know,
got,
maybe we should consider giving him a bonus at the back end if he does pick his legs up and starts to move a little faster.
but
Rather than-
he needs a helper, because
He's not that type of guy.
Yeah.
He just isn't.
Well, I've seen him work, and he is slow, and he is meticulous, and he isn't on time in the morning.
He's
He-
good.
he
he's a-
doesn't know
he's a-
what 8 o'clock in the morning is.
He's
No,
doing
does
very
not.
good job.
He
He
does
doing
a beautiful job.
quality job, and because it was the really bad weather.
No, my
because
fence still looks
Yeah.
great, and it was done, I don't know, 9 months ago or something.
I mean, I
I've
could
lost track.
see over the summertime where it was brutal, but now that it's, you know, he
Well, this
should
is the
be
time to
taking
get the
it.
job done while it's cool.
So he knows he's got to get some people, you know.
As a
Alright.
person who worked
I'm
with
gonna-
him on this,
I'm
what
gonna
is the rate,
pull-
an average rate, with good weather and
Pull-
a timely period to work in a straight process without
Tom.
interruptions? How many fences can he
Pull
do
John.
in a given period of time?
Well,
So we can kind of look at this and
like-
determine where we are.
4 to 5 sides, even 6 sides. Like when he first started, he was kind of cruising pretty good. You know, as far he can 5, 6 sides of a fence a day. You know, but then you know I have not ever
5, 6
se-
units. You mean?
No,
What is it?
sides of a fence.
Sides.
So,
Sides.
but and in his defense, when we jumped over to 52nd and did 55th and 56th, a lot of people over there, a lot of owners had the insides painted. So that's double the work. So
Absolutely.
that slows him right down. So that really put him, you know, behind as far as progressing forward. Meanwhile, I'm continuing to move and move and move. So I just got farther and farther ahead of him. But now he hasn't had that many insights. But the thing is, he frustrates me to no end. His work ethic is just, he doesn't know at 8 o'clock
Well,
in
as
the
I
morning.
recall, Michelle Murray said that she took him under her wing. Do you think we could have Michelle talk to him?
No, it's,
No, but he's doing good job. Why you not happy?
I
with
bust
this
his
guy?
chops
I
all
do
the
not know.
time.
Why
It just,
criticizing
it
him?
doesn't, he's
He
a
is
laid
not our
back.
problem.
There were 2 phases here, and
Yes.
you just touched on one. I want to
Yes.
discuss this. People who aren't getting their fences inside painted, or people who want to get them inside painted. Could we do the process so that we get the exterior done,
Right.
and then do the interiors for those that might want to get the interior painted? So that we don't have this guy dealing in one locality 2 or 3 times the length of time he would normally do if
No,
he
but
was
he
dealing
washed
with just
inside those
one
sides.
side of painting and pressure coating these fences.
Yeah, I mean,
No, it's impossible because you need wash inside, outside,
Yeah.
and after, if he will finish in 6 months, he need go back and wash
'cause
again
then
inside.
what do you do about like new wood that's being put on the inside?
Yeah, it should be.
And then to have to
Reserve.
come all the way, to come back, when you're right there and you have the equipment.
Just a
that-
thought.
You know, I'm saying,
Yeah, no.
I mean,
No,
it's
not
just a,
good.
you gotta weigh, like,
Mark needs to hire someone else.
he
is
does,
what Mark needs
and he
to
knows
do.
that, he knows it, and he's going to, I just don't have the
Well, tell him
confidence
that
that
we
he's
need
gonna
him
be
to do
able
it
to.
ASAP.
And as he knows, I'm gonna be all over him as to how it gets done, and he knows it's gotta be done, you know, as good as I was
Well,
doing
if
it.
he's interested in, I think Larry made a good point, and you say he's not the type, I'm sorry, but if he's interested in picking up the finishing, he's willing to hire someone and do the 124 remaining fences, totally rejuvenate them.
It'll take him
Then-
another year to do 120.
Not if he hires another person.
No, but I mean,
You've
just.
done over
but-
400, they've done over 400 in,
Who?
over 400
Who?
have been
Who?
done, both
Right,
companies
right.
have done over 400 in a year and
Well,
3
less-
months or
Actually, less than
whatever.
400.
Okay, a little less than 4. Well, it's 524 homes.
Right,
so
so there's 124, so 400, but 400 are
done.
completed right now.
Okay, okay.
Because
But
there's
the
40,
point
there's
is that
40 still out there.
I
being done.
like Larry's suggestion
40
that
others.
we offer him a bonus if he hires
That
someone
was
else.
Joe's suggestion.
Oh, Joe, were you the
Yeah.
bonus
Yeah,
guy?
it's
I like the idea.
Well, I mean, hey, if
Yes,
you
it's
guys,
better
want,
than
if you
hiring
guys
a
are
company.
offering that
You
up,
pay
I'll
them
tell
more.
them.
No,
that,
I'd
you know,
rather,
I mean,
I'd rather
what's a
hire,
good-
keep with Mark, who
Well,
we know is a
You ought to discuss
professional.
that and then
Yeah.
come back
Paints
with
the
Larry
fences
and make a
beautifully.
proposal regarding
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
kind of numbers.
So we
he
give him a
might be
little
interested
bonus.
in, motivating his search, okay? But he's definitely got to be motivated.
Well, we've
He's
gotta
gotta
give
show
him a time
production
frame
that he's
for
going to get this thing
completion.
done in a
I
reasonable
mean,
got
he's
to
talking
give him
right
a-
now. He wants to take 2 or 3 weeks off because he's been he's been going at it for over a year.
Well, he hasn't had a vacation.
And
Yeah,
hasn't
he
had
has
it.
right to
You
take
know,
vacation.
I know what that. I was right there with him. I don't
Yeah,
take
no,
any
that's
time
fair.
off. I don't know. I don't even. My birthday was yesterday. I don't even know what that is.
Was
Birthday?
it really?
Well, it's like no birthday. I was at the office till midnight.
Today is my
I
grandson.
stepped out to go have some sushi and came right back to the office and was there till midnight.
Well, belated happy birthday, Frank.
Was
Belated
it a
happy
milestone?
What?
Was it a milestone?
No, he's still a teenager.
So, I mean, he's looking to take time off, and you know, it's funny when I told him that, you know, listen, we're not going. Board doesn't want to pay you unless these are finished, right? And well, what, you know, what, da da da. And he goes, oh, shoot, I'll just take 2 or 3 weeks off. Then I got to. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. You know, I mean, if you're
Just
gonna,
the opposite
yes,
reaction.
right. So, but then he changed his tune a little. He was a little, I don't know. He's one of a kind guy. I can tell you that.
Okay.
He marches to the beat of his own drum.
Well, he does do a nice job.
But
There's no
that's the
question.
thing. He does.
That's-
He's good
there's no
at it.
question about
He's
that.
just slow,
Yeah,
painfully slow.
yeah.
Even all the
He may
people,
be tired.
like-
He can. He's human being, guys.
Well, he
work on.
needs somebody else to work with him.
He needs to
He lost
hire more
Randall.
people.
I don't
so-
think,
He lost Randall, he
I
needs
personally
some.
don't think he wants to hire anybody because then he has to share the money.
Right.
right. And
So-
there's not a lot of money there.
But when you pay
That's-
him more, instead of hire new company, pay much more expensive. Because when we hire new company, it will be expensive. But when maybe we just, if he hire more people, we pay him more money. And they will finish fancy because they do the exceptional quality. Everybody agree with that.
Yeah, no, I had no complaints with his work. None whatsoever.
In comparison with previous company, what they did terrible.
Well, one of the things, looking at the size, at the project, of 124 units left remaining, there are 3 parts of the process. I think we have addressed most of the bad boards, I would think, okay? Although I know you found a few in my fence when you went back to it. But assuming that we've got most of the
No,
wood,
the ones that are left, they haven't been
They
touched.
haven't been touched at all?
No, that other company didn't touch them.
See, Landell left off on 58.
Yeah,
They
Landell.
did a couple of buildings on 58. So you had the remainder of 58, which I did 2 of them as far as preparing. So, you know, Mark will do those when he ever gets there. So you got the remainder of 58, all of 57th, 54th, and 53rd left. So that's, I don't know if it's exactly 124, but it's like 122, you know, like, so. But they haven't been touched, you know. I haven't touched them, Landell, they haven't been touched. I jumped across, the only reason why I jumped across the street to 58 because I was done at the end of 56th in the middle of December. So I had like 2 weeks left. So I did as much as I could till December 5:45, December 31st.
well, could we pressure wash what's there and boards being replaced, the boards being replaced, they're going to be seal coated, okay? Could we get that part of it out of the way where we can get it started?
Pressure clean?
And
Well-
primed. Can we get it pressure cleaned and primed?
By whom?
By anybody.
Well,
Rather than doing the painting, just go and get all the primer on, especially when the boards have been replaced.
Well, don't forget one thing,
oh,
guys.
you mean the ones that I did?
What
Yeah.
you finish?
The 40 that are left that I did?
Yes.
Oh, well,
That's different. But the 124 of them have to be power washed first. Because
Oh,
we
yeah.
know
I'm
that
talking about
any,
getting something on the ones that you have so they don't need pressure
yeah,
cleaning
well,
again.
well,
that
he,
makes sense.
like I said, he's got
He needs to
somebody
hire
that's
someone.
that has a sprayer that's gonna, he has that in mind. That I know he's working on.
Doesn't
that he
Edva do
knows.
power washing? Could Edva help him?
No, Epic, no.
No?
I mean, no,
Well, he
you're
runs-
mixing something with a contractor. That can't-
I'm just trying to think of a way to speed it up.
Okay, why don't we leave this in Randall's
Yeah.
hands? and
Okay.
Yeah.
He'll
Leave
get
this
back
to
to us
manager,
with
let
something.
him
We'll
take care of
continue
it.
the search.
Hopefully
Okay.
we'll find
Hopefully.
somebody.
Let's
And
get
I
the
do
job
have one
done.
other contact that I still haven't had a chance to contact yet. That is a contractor, and you know we got to talking, and so I'll contact him too. But you know, just so you know, a lot of these companies, you know, they don't want it. It's not.
No, what you need, and which is what I have 3 of, are guys that have another job, but they're looking for part-time work. And they'll give us 2 or 3, days a week, but one would have to be a Saturday.
Yeah,
so
but
we
they have to be
decide on
licensed and
that.
insured and
Yes,
all that
yes,
stuff.
yes.
You
And they
know, so
gotta be managed, you gotta
You
know
know,
what
for
they're
painting.
doing.
Well, let me say this to you, one of these guys
They have to have tools.
does everything at Lost Tree. I don't think you have to worry about him if you know Lost Tree Community, for
It's like
example.
this painter that I talked to, they have, oh, Michelle, by the way, she was throwing up, I don't know if it was, who they were, but she kept asking me about, I got my 2 young, they're 20-year-olds, they're going into service, and da-da-da, they're great workers, da-da-da-da, good guys, da-da-da, and I'm like, do they got tools? No. Well, they're going into the service in January. So well, how's that going to help us for 2 weeks? Well, it's, the Marines have been screwing them around. Who knows when they're actually going to go? Do they have tools? Do they know how to do, you need tools. They don't, Same thing with this painter the other day that I talked to. He didn't say he didn't, but he actually asked me, well, do you have a pressure cleaner? He asked me if I had a pressure cleaner. I'm like, you're a painter. Do you have a pressure cleaner? Yeah, so painters aren't equipped. They're not, when they are painters, they're not doing construction work, wood replacement and stuff like that. So when I'm showing them the scope of work and showing them what I did and what I'm going to expect and all this kind of stuff, he's like, yeah.
I know
could
a
see
couple
I
of
could
guys
see his,
that are licensed power washers, licensed painters, and licensed
No, maybe
carpenters.
introduce them to Mark.
I just made a note to call all 3 of them.
Ask them to call Mark and let him interview them. It's all.
Randall, I'll have them
Let's just
contact
do it,
you
let's
and then
talk.
you set it up. If any of them are interested.
I'll
but
talk to
tell you,
anybody.
It's
Trust me, I wanna get this
124
done.
fences.
The entrance
Okay.
coming in, have those units.
Then there's the guy that
Then
works
do
at
the
PGA
exterior.
that does several
So
houses
this way the
for
community
friends of
can drive
mine.
in, looks.
Well,
Builds their
that's
fence,
that's what
whatever
I've
they
been
need.
focusing on. All like 50. That's why I wanted to come
Because it
this
looks
way.
terrible.
That the whole time.
Okay, all right.
Well, it's in Randall's hands, we'll
All right.
get a report.
So Larry, what's next, my dear? Old business, new business?
Well, we can discuss these trees that you,
Yes. Well, I just want to cross that job off our list. We voted and approved the end of last year to remove part of the 18 ficus trees that we believed were a problem.
But who
Corrupting.
will do the work?
Excuse me, let me finish. Corrupting concrete, etc. We've decided to do, now, you said 6, you said 8, I've forgotten, I don't
No,
know.
it's different trees, at least.
It was 6. There was
6.
4 ficus and then 2 other.
Yeah, others,
Two
yeah.
no,
Right.
One dead,
three others. Three
one
others.
hardwood,
Right.
and then.
Do we have the location of these 4?
Three, yes.
It's back in our notes from,
Yes.
I have them from
Yeah.
November or December, but I'm sure they're in our meeting notes.
Yes, but we need
From
company
David
who will
whatnot.
do that. We
Well,
already
Randall will
discussed-
That's not a
It's all,
problem. Yeah, that's not
we
a
will-
problem.
We already approved that we will remove the trees, it's all.
But
We
could
need
I
just
say
company who-
something? David got us at least 7 bids before CAMS left us.
Yes.
We have contracts galore, bids that David brought to meetings
Okay.
in September, August, September, October, November. We have all these corporations that bid to do tree companies. I even recommended to David 2 or 3
Yes,
companies.
but-
So if we go back through our
But
paperwork,
they just start, let him
but
work.
it's
He
in our
has 2 weeks
paperwork.
here.
Those bids that David brought to us are in.
I know Natasha was.
You know,
happy with them.
here,
Bust
guys,
them out and
Thursday,
approve
November
one of them.
21st, tree removal and replacement, discuss and vote. 8 trees passed, David doing a report. We voted and approved 8 of those trees to be removed on November 21st. Okay, this is January 16th. We need to get the job. Now, David had a bunch of tree companies who he had gotten bids from. And 2 or 3 of them I knew. And then I emailed him with 2 or 3 I also knew of from the old days when we used them. But I'm just looking to see if any of the bids are in here. But we have those bids, so I'll go through all my paperwork when I catch my breath. And, but we have bids.
and then get with Randall so that.
Yeah, I'll email him and tell him what bids, and I can drop them off at the
I mean,
office
we
or
already
whatever, if you don't have
know the
copies.
numbers, so.
Because don't forget, David used to bring me a copy of everything because I couldn't print at work. So I have a copy of all
I can
those.
email if you don't have it, right?
What?
These bids.
Here,
I don't
Because
here's the November 1st
he
meeting.
emailed
Yeah.
us, but in that meeting he told he will talk with people. He will talk
Right,
with company
right.
about that exactly tree. He did not give us anybody who can do it yet.
No, he gave proposals, so we all had to choose one.
Yeah, but
Yeah, we just have to pick one. Interview them again and pick them. All right, I'll go through all the stuff I have.
remember
This
that
is just November,
He told us
December.
that he will give us the
Oh, here
companies
we
in
go,
December.
here we go. Hold on, here we
His
go.
trees, but he did not.
Excuse
give
me,
companies.
here we go. Tree trimming proposals, 2019. Okay, All Brothers, Brightview, Landscape Manager, Timberland, A Cut Above. So, but the point is this.
It was before.
These were
It
tree-
was not in November.
This is in my November. Here's landscape company proposals. This is last year, okay? And because we hadn't resolved it, I move it forward each month until it's
Yeah, but it's
resolved.
not in November yet.
Can I see that?
Yeah. This was tree trimming where we would be doing.
I remember this.
Yeah, okay.
I remember Old Brothers. I think we chose Old Brothers for previous.
All Brothers, we
remember?
did.
Yeah.
We did pick All Brothers. That's the one that rings my bell. Here's another hard sell from May. Got another hard sell proposal from May. We'll look at that. Thank you, David, for printing
That
all
one
this
from
out.
May on Mary Lou, I think, is the reduction they gave us because of,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Proposed effective date, right, presented by Jay. Yeah, okay. Now, let's see if we have trees on here, contracts. Well, anyway, we don't want to hold up time, but the point is, we have a lot of
We
contracts.
have chosen Old Brothers. Yeah.
That one rings my bell too, Natalia.
They did the Sable Palm.
Well, that was to do the Sable Palms.
Disabled palm,
but
but-
we also said
That list,
we could
19,000.
use them for the ficus trees.
So I'm just saying,
Forget the
that's why you
palms,
know.
we don't have any.
Yeah, oh yeah, because they did, oh, thank you, yes, you're right, yes. They're the ones that did the Sable Palms.
Right there.
Pam is reminding us,
Right,
the All Brothers did the Sable Palms. That was a
Yeah, right,
quote.
we don't need the palms, we're really talking about hardwoods here.
Well, but a tree trimming company can trim any kind of a tree, or cut them down and replant new ones.
But
Yeah, but-
Brightview was the least
Was the low-
expensive
The low bidder.
on the hardwoods at 19,500.
Yeah, but if you want to get a quote from Brightview, who we're thinking of firing,
But that
To
it
do
was
those
not
8
removed
trees,
tree.
we
Mr.
can.
Rocker, that is list, not removed tree, it was doing palms, you remember, that was
So-
not for that 8 trees.
Randall, is it possible for you to contact,
Contact the
Brightview
Final.
and, was it?
All Brothers.
All Brothers, and tell them to quote on those 8 trees.
Give us
that
an
we got.
updated quote.
Yeah.
And I don't think there would be anything wrong with going back to CAM's GRS and asking for this paperwork that is ours anyway.
Supposedly, we should have gotten it all.
Right,
That's-
well, but
Randall
that's-
says everything is on
A disc or
Disc.
whatever you call it, or,
They
Or-
gave me a
or-
flash drive.
A flash
that
drive.
Flash drive.
Not a lot of stuff is there. Actually, I gotta go pick up another one, but that's going back.
well,
when Sally
let's
was-
go back, why don't you, when you're going to be speaking to them for another reason, tell them that we are looking for the bids that David got for us.
I need all of our digital records from 17, 18, and 19.
Yeah, but let's concentrate right now that we
Well-
need, which is more current. And that is.
But David did not give us bids on that exactly 8 tree. He did
No, he
not.
did.
He
Yes,
did not
he
give
went
us
out for
no.
bids. Yes,
he
he
did not.
did.
He told he will
Not-
give us in December, but he did not brought in December because
Okay.
it was last month.
Well, we're at an impasse here.
All right.
Let's leave it at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
To get an inquiry between these 2 vendors.
Right.
What would they charge to come in and remove these 8 trees?
8 full-grown ficus
Yeah, but
trees.
what about water?
Well, they weren't.
Did
No,
you
one
find
was
out
a raw
about
point
water?
sienna, and the
Oh,
other
yeah,
one
yeah,
was
right.
was
No.
a hardwood.
January's a bad month to talk to anybody in government.
Yeah.
But if you want to be a hero for our community, you can do that.
If I do it, you can all give me 10% of whatever I save.
Okay, everybody.
By the way,
And then you'll motivate me.
I have
Yeah.
yet to hear from the POA in response to my email and phone call regarding the fact that I signed, Larry had me replace you as the POA rep.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why you probably didn't hear from them if you didn't, is because that was in December.
Right. No,
And
well,
every year they send us a new one in December for the following year, so I gave it
you
to
had
Randall.
you had me fill out one, which I mailed into
Yeah, because
them.
that's the only one I had. I thought, well, that we still had time left
Well,
last
can
year.
you sign a new one and then we'll, Randall?
Why am I being removed from the POA?
No, it was just that when you were not here,
No, you
and-
could still go.
I'm still listed, I'm on the board, I'm on the meetings as a director of the
Yeah,
POA.
but Mary Lou can be a representative.
She can
as
be
well.
anything she wants to be.
no, it wasn't that I wanted to be, it was that Larry asked me if I would become the POA rep, and I said I'd be happy to. Period.
Well, candidly, if you want to spend a day, be my guest, you're entitled to go to that meeting.
I've gone to them for 30
So
years,
there you go.
but
you're not missing
not as the
anything.
POA representative. Haven't done that in several
But
years.
you never, guys, you never did report what you thought about. We never
Because
thought
I
about-
never,
Okay.
I
Yeah,
have,
yeah, because we never heard nothing.
All right,
about
what we're going to do now for the rest of the meeting, because we are in self-managed and we have some homeowners here tonight,
Yeah.
they may want to discuss or have questions about that, or they may have other questions they want to ask, so we're going to give you a little more time tonight. Okay, anybody with a question back there that would like to ask? Go ahead.
Hi, me and my husband were new homeowners over here. We closed last month on the 20th. We just moved in and we've already had an issue, speaking of trees.
can you give us your unit number?
Oh,
Yeah.
6423.
6423,
Yes.
thank you.
We had to call the plumber out. We had issues with the plumbing. Come to find out, the roots from the tree, they were pulling out when they snaked it. It cleared our plumbing, but it may be an issue in the future. And not only that, my husband speaking to our neighbor, the same issue happened to him. He's having issues with his plumbing because of the tree roots growing into the pipes. Roto-Rooter, they came out, they said that they can come out for free and assess the issue, go in with a camera to see if the pipes are damaged or not. And my husband did email the new management company. I don't know if you guys got the email on that issue,
Larry?
or what steps
Did you
do we
get-
take? Do we get the city involved with that?
No, that's
No, that, the
that's our
city
job.
doesn't do that.
Okay.
And
We own the
roots
trees.
in our
We own all
drain
the
lines
trees.
are a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why,
What kind of tree you have there?
so,
I have no idea what tree it is. I don't
We
have
need
a
to have
thumb.
Buckeye should
64
come out.
against 64?
6423.
23, okay.
May I ask you
will
a question?
Sure.
Did you request the association, see, we have a plumbing company called Buckeye, who has worked on our property forever. And what you do is you contact, and now we have a new email address, as you know, you got in the mail, Randall's, you know. And what you do is you put in a request.
Well,
And
actually
then-
not through the email,
Well, how are they gonna do it?
through payoutHOA.com. That's where their homeowner portal
That's
is.
where they're gonna put a work order in?
That's a maintenance request, ARC request, general request.
Is that in writing to them? Do they know that? Because I didn't get anything in the mail telling me.
Everything, Mary Lou, everything's going out in, with all this information was mailed today to all of them.
Oh, so no one knows yet? I don't even know. Okay, so you're gonna get that in the mail. It went in the mail today.
Okay,
So,
we didn't know that.
no, of course not. You would not.
Because it was.
Well, but we also, our bulletin boards, and I know a lot, and I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, I'm just saying, we have bulletin boards, we have emergency numbers in the bulletin boards for who you call with certain issues, and nobody seems to read them. So-
We don't know where they're at. That's why Karen's.
Yeah,
Right
well,
next
that's what I'm
to-
saying.
Right next to the mailbox.
They're right,
Right by the mailbox.
yeah, there's,
Or standing by the
There's a
mailbox.
bulletin board right next to the.
Every mailbox at every street.
Okay, we seen the new management company numbers, so we would
That's the
call
bulletin
them.
board.
That
yeah, that's Randall.
That's when.
Randall, and for the issue, we were supposed to call them for the issue. Plumbing.
Right, then we get
Or
Buckeye to
easy-
come out, because we
See,
get
we have
better
a
rates.
plumbing company for
Hold on.
35
May-
years.
I don't think,
May I-
I don't think it's very clear what
Let-
the
yeah,
thing is.
let me make it clear for you.
I'm sorry, because all we saw was, okay,
No,
this
no,
new management
you're
company
right.
that said
No, you're
we
right.
didn't know, okay, you're supposed to call this number if you have plumbing issues. We didn't
No,
know.
No.
We haven't even like said exactly what. That's just at least contact information to get it out there, you know,
A starting point.
quickly, right? So, as Larry said, we just, with our mailing today, was to give all the pertinent information to all the homeowners. And what I had stressed in that letter was whether you use, because what we have is to explain how it's done, or how the association is being run right now. Hired an independent accountant to take care of all the finances, pay the association bills, collect the monthly dues, bookkeeping, all that kind of stuff. So anything financial, or with your account, your association dues, you would contact the accountant, the general ledger. All right, and that's on there. Anything that's property, issue, like plumbing, like you would
That's what went out today.
you can contact myself as the manager, but what's on this letter today is this homeowner web portal, which is the software of the accountant, but it's payhoa.com. With that portal, whether you use that portal to pay your dues or not, it doesn't matter, but get registered on it, because that is your way of communicating both with them and with me, because on that site you can put in a maintenance request, a general request, an ARC request, you see any violations that might be on the property, and other things. It's just that's the way to communicate as far as that's concerned. But I mean,
Okay.
you can always call. I mean, it's not
You can
that.
prove
You can always call the office.
But for
That's
those
not.
that didn't do POA, pay HOA, whatever, for those who didn't do it that way, they
Okay,
mailing in a check.
like I just said.
How
Does-
would, well, let's say
let me
this
explain.
owner,
I just said, Mary Lou, it doesn't
Well, I'm
matter
reading it, I'm reading it.
if
You
you
still
don't
use the
if you
portal.
don't use it to pay.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. You still want to register your property
Okay.
to create
Okay.
your account. So this way,
Okay.
whether you mail a check, send Uber to bring your check in, walk it
Okay.
in, however you do, you
Okay.
can at least use that portal to go look at your account to
well,
see
it's
if
nice to see this for the first time. I've never laid eyes on it.
very well. We've been
We'll
very
see it
busy.
tomorrow.
We've been
Believe
very,
me,
we've been very
we
busy.
just got it finished yesterday.
Okay.
Speaking of vendors, is there like a list of vendors for a Buckeye for plumbing?
Well, you wouldn't
Well, you
call
No,
it.
don't call
you
them.
wouldn't call them.
You don't.
Call him.
Oh, I'll call you.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, you
you-
don't
the
call me.
homeowner
You
does-
put in a. You don't call me. You put in a maintenance request.
Put in the maintenance request.
Yeah, the
Well,
homeowner
she's gonna
never-
call you when it's an emergency.
Yeah.
Well, there is an emergency line.
Yeah, there is an
You know.
emergency after hours phone number.
I got
on
this.
mailing.
One thing we're not very clear on with most of the people in this association is the plumbing issues that we have.
Right.
And people are calling the plumbers independently. And people are paying out of pocket independently, like this lady
We paid
did.
over
And as
$300
my
for
owners,
that.
my neighbors did as well. And I don't think it's made very clear, and it hasn't, nothing to do with you, it hasn't in many years, been clear to our association that the HOA is responsible for some of this. And there's a lot of people paying out of pocket for plumbing issues that are the responsibility of the association. Granted, if we, until we know what the issue is, if it's a root problem, or if it's something that we found, people putting stuff in the drains and that kind of stuff. But if it's a root issue, people don't know that the HOA should be, I think we need to clarify somewhere along the line, if we're having plumbing issues, contact the association. I mean, there's a lot of people paying out of pocket.
Well, it's the new owners too, a lot of new owners like this lady.
Even people that have been
White
here for a
House.
long time don't know, honestly, they don't. They don't know that if you hear gurgling inside your unit, if you hear that, your toilet gurgling or in your
Right.
kitchen sink, that you should run outside and undo the,
Clean
what do you
up.
call that
The
thing?
vent cap, the
Yeah,
cleanup.
there's-
Clean up.
Yeah.
On the side of the building,
Right.
there's that white pipe that comes up. Well, when you hear that again, and spread the word, you need to go outside and undo that, because that lets the pressure out. So it's gonna come out of there instead of inside your unit. And nobody knows that unless it's happened to them.
But you really don't want her doing that. that could be dangerous.
No, it's not, Joe, I've done it a million times.
If it's
Everyone
under a lot of
knows about
pressure,
I'm
it
sorry,
could be
Joe, I disagree.
dangerous.
And I've done it a million times.
Well, thank God you've been
And so have
safe
other
with it.
people
But
have.
if there is
No, no,
pressure in there,
It's
All right,
never
well,
that much pressure. It's
All right,
never
so
that much.
the
the
bottom
point
line
is-
is,
Yeah,
if you've paid money out of pocket,
send us a bill.
here's how we do it. This is how Mary Lou's gonna chip in.
Pay for it.
Oh, yeah, right, sure, yeah.
But anything that you paid, and I have no idea how much they charged you.
300,
How much?
over
It was
300,
over 300, yes.
over
Okay, so
$300.
we have Buckeye Plumbing
Right,
that charges us, how much was it, Randall?
Well, for a service call, it's like $189.
Yeah.
right.
We're gonna pay you what we would pay Buckeye, because it's your responsibility to know these things. It should have been pointed out to you when you were purchasing your
At
unit.
your closing.
Well,
And,
it was still under GRS, which we had an issue when we were closing with the previous owner. There were issues going on there.
yeah.
Okay.
well,
With that. So it's like we didn't even get the key to the mailbox or anything. So it's like we had to do everything on our own.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
Well, that's-
Did you get a copy of
That's a
the-
shame that you had to do that, but
Were
we
you given
will,
a
we will
copy?
reimburse you what we would normally have to pay for that.
Right.
Okay.
And what would happen?
So at least you won't be out of pocket all of it.
Could I ask you a
Okay.
question?
I appreciate that.
Were you given a copy of our governing documents and the rules and regulations at closing?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So if you would take the time to read those, not all your questions will be answered, but a lot of them will help you, guide you through your...
Are they the updated ones that came from GRS? Because they look like they...
Well, the governing documents, we've only updated maybe two of all of them.
We do.
It's a very thick packet.
So that
They
they know
do
that
look like
they,
they're
if they
100
did
years
fail.
old.
Yeah, so you know.
We've only...
I want to ask that question after you guys have...
We need to
updated
check
ones,
what they're giving them. We don't know because they often give all the rules.
First of all,
They look like they're...
Yeah, I know.
mine are 30 years old, so I would be giving them my 30-year-old documents.
Tell me before.
Do we have anyone else?
Yeah, okay, anybody else have a question?
All right,
Thank you.
sir.
Right in the
Yes.
back there, go ahead.
So, me and my fiance live at 5712 57th Way. So, my chief reason for coming here was to get an update on the fence project because we're, on the unlucky side of, being about 15 months or so since it started.
Yes.
And no end in sight. But beyond that, I had put in a request with David back in, I want to say March of last year, saying that the shrub bushes around my fence were dead.
Oh,
The
yeah.
landscaping company didn't do anything to save them. I tried to do what I could to keep them alive, but no luck. But unfortunately, they said they were going to be planting new bushes during the wet season, which passed and everything, obviously. And now it sounds like the shrubs are being tied into the completion of the fence project.
Yeah.
And that's, obviously, since we have no one inside of the fence right now, I'd rather just get the shrubs done and replaced, if possible. And
Okay,
then,
but may I jump in? About hedges, you can't plant them now in January. This is winter. And all we need is one frost, one night of frost on delicate new 4 foot, 3 foot, 2 foot tall hedges. So that's done in the spring.
Sure.
We just want to get them removed because I plant the plants on the inside and there's like a mold or something on the outside.
But we're
Okay.
planting only outside. We don't responsible to
No, I
plant.
planted on
No,
the
it's
inside.
inside.
But
Yeah.
the,
You own the
the
inside,
bugs
yes.
and whatnot that are living off of the dead plants are starting to
All
go
right, well,
to the inside.
Yeah, it means they must be removed.
Sorry
Yeah.
to make you do this again, but maybe a work order request asking that you understand it's not the right time of year to plant a new hedge, but you are requesting that the old hedge that's infected with some kind of
yeah,
a
it just needs to go.
mold
It can't
be
They
removed.
just removed
So
it.
are we committing to getting them new hedges?
Well,
Or
here
having
and there
them
throughout
removed?
I have a request in for a new
No, I'm
hedge.
just saying,
Well,
you're
that-
almost giving the impression that we're gonna do that.
Yeah, I just
So-
want to make sure that's
Where
not
necessary.
We have a manager who's responsible to
Yes,
come back
yes.
to us.
But
and
here
say,
and there-
This unit needs to be taken care
I
of more immediately
understand
than
that,
it's.
but the way Mary Lou is stating it.
I know how
I'm
Mary
not
Lou
sure they
states things,
understand.
okay?
Yeah, I just don't want to.
You're right.
We have money in reserves
Nothing.
for hedge replacement. We
Okay,
had money
this
to
gentleman
do
right
it.
here has his hand up.
Right,
Yeah, okay.
to his point, I think, have you sprayed for white flies, or do you?
Yeah.
Because I can saw some of those.
Yeah, we have them again.
That's what
I
probably
noticed
killed
this
your
week.
Shrubs,
Yeah.
I would think,
Yes.
right? Yeah, so.
And my bell peppers.
It's just, yeah, the main thing is
Right.
I just don't want them tied to the fence project, saying that the fence project has to be done before the shrubs
See.
will be replaced, because I think that's,
Right.
I mean, we're just gonna go through another wet season and not have,
Yeah.
new bushes, so.
Well, I don't think it's impossible. I mean, Edva could do it. He could dig out the
Maybe he's not finished.
So, do you and when do you spray for the white flies to preserve the shrubs? That's the question.
That's the landscape company's job, and when we get a contract from them, in that contract, it says when,
Those are the-
if we're having them do it, it's in the contract. Off the top of my head, maybe,
Yeah.
do you know off the top of your head, Randall, what month the
Well,
Bright
actually-
View said spring?
There's no schedule in their contract. What's in their contract is they can provide it, but it's an extra cost.
Right.
Over and above the contract.
But we did spray for
So,
white
but there's no
flies.
schedule.
Who did that last year? Was that a cut above, maybe?
Probably it was
No,
a
no,
cut-
cut
it was a
above.
cut above, but we didn't.
They spray 2 times against white flies. I talk
A
about
cut above?
not this company. This company I saw myself, and that's why I complained that they never notify owners that
Oh,
it's
yeah,
this spray
okay.
is poison.
Okay.
And
The issue-
in other things, because
the
we
issue-
don't have enough. That we replaced a lot of shrubs what affected
Right.
with white fly, but many hedges what we planted, it's not, they not that have problem with white fly.
Right,
White fly
it's
don't damage
preventive,
them.
it's
Yeah,
preventive
but if we
maintenance.
spray here, in another community don't spray, it means all the white fly will come back here. We need to talk with all community around, so we all together kill them, to spray, because of it's science. If we spray, we spend a lot of money, it's very expensive, but they don't do anything, it means in 1 week, they white fly come back here, because
If the hedges are protected,
Could I throw
it's not
something
gonna-
out at you just for the heck of it? I've lived here 30 years, I go to Home Depot, I buy a container, a can, it's this big, it kills white fly, and every once in a while, I spray myself.
We sprayed it on
Yeah.
the inside, but they're.
I do the outside too. I mean, I don't care, it's my hedge. We own the hedge, by the way.
Because they
We
were
just don't have
spray
to
and then you
maintain
raise
it,
it,
but we own it.
Well, the question was, do you and when, not if I had to do it, so that's why I wanted to know.
Yeah.
It was the real direct
I just do it
question.
anyway. I just don't know what's in the current contract for 2020, the Brightview contract.
Well, I know with, like
Well, do
Randall
we
said,
have
it's,
one?
we can get it done, there's an extra charge for it, but
Well, do we
when,
have a
when is a
copy of the
good time to do it? The
2020?
white flies were horrible in December.
Yeah, well, no, you can spray in the winter, you just don't plant new growth.
Randall, could you check with Brightview and see what they recommend?
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
Yeah, and I know in the past,
Your unit number?
Oh, 57, 30,
Thank you.
57, well, just
we
a
have been
question.
trying to eradicate that issue
Yeah.
by getting rid of the plants or vegetation that attract such fly.
Right.
So,
Which is ficus hedges.
right. So,
We already almost get rid of
what
them.
we were
Yeah.
doing in the past wasn't working out real well because we had a company that had both the irrigation side of the contract as well as the landscaping side of the contract.
Yeah.
So we, at that point, were trying to get rid of the hedges, the ficus hedges. So here we were planting them, planting new ones, right, without proper irrigation. They were dying. And that's why, to make a long story short, we took the irrigation side of the contract away from a cut above.
Right.
We subsequently took all of it away from them because we didn't like even what they were doing with the landscaping side too. We ended up with this new Brightview company. So along the way, we got Image, which we had a long time ago, which are very good, and they got our irrigation back up to pretty good shape.
It's a heck of a lot
it's an
better.
ongoing thing. There's just a lot of stuff going on with pumps and all that kind of stuff. But now that the irrigation is in good shape, I've been wanting to as well is get the new hedge, get hedges now planted, right? And I'm sick of seeing old, crappy, diseased stuff out there. But then, like he mentioned, it had to kind of do with the fences. Since we're doing these fences, well, obviously don't go planting hedges right in front of a fence that's not done yet. Let's get back, and do the ones that the fences have been done. So
We're getting like
we've-
double shafted on our end.
we've
Now-
stalled, we've stalled a bit on as far as this whole hedge thing. But like I was telling Larry, since I've taken over, it's a lot of people have they're calling about all this stuff, and we've got to do
Yeah,
something. We've got to do
and
something
we-
about it. It's not just I don't feel it's just one owner. It's all of them.
No, there are numerous hedges throughout the community that are struggling. Be them half dead or totally dead or sick.
It's
A
not
lot
all
of
because
it-
of white fly, it's because of
Well,
the
no,
irrigation.
well,
Yeah,
that's
a lot
what
of because
Randall
of irrigation,
said.
No,
yeah.
I mean, ours is completely covered in white. Like,
Yeah, that's a lot
Yeah,
of.
yeah,
Okay.
It means...
Are you talking about white that's on the bark of the?
Yes, but they also have white flies because that's what killed my plants on the inside.
Oh, they fly in your
But-
face,
But
right?
it can be...
We
all
asked,
over the
but we
place.
asked about the bushes and we were told that it wasn't our responsibility. So I'm not gonna spend money to spray dead bushes. I mean, like,
No, but what is it white?
They
It's
come.
steam, they have white residue.
yeah,
It's not white
there
fly.
are
You
also
have-
white
we
flies.
have
It's
the
not,
new-
but it can be found.
The emergency number.
Maybe this is-
It can be white. It can be found.
They will
in
be
the white.
Like, it's all the above.
All
One
right,
at a time.
let's,
No, one at a time. We have
we
Pam,
need
did you have a
to
question?
try to be able to hear the person that's speaking,
This gentleman, you
so.
had other questions too. I believe.
No, that was just it. I mean, you obviously have to have a plan and a time frame to do it, and it sounds like you do, but they have issues, but
Right.
now, and that's my question, when and if, and what was the plan
And
to take care of it?
I just want to try to correct one thing. Mary Lou, I don't believe we own the hedges. The association owns them.
Right.
Okay, may I say something?
They're outside
No,
the
you're
fence.
wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. We own, listen to me and
Coming
remember,
from Sally.
this is Sally Rock Rise's quote, and she was totally right and proved it. We own the hedge, we own the dirt the hedge is planted in. We own the fence, we own the dirt inside the fence, and we own the concrete patio. That is what we own. The association manages the hedge and manages the fence.
You mean maintains?
Same thing. Period. That's the report. We own that hedge. And that is the reason why there are two hedges planted in front of my unit. Because the board of directors approved that my late husband plant a hedge because our hedge was totally dead. And he removed it because it wasn't on the drawing board with that board to replace the hedge for who knows how many months. I still have that second hedge, which is still alive 20 years later.
I would like to have, Randall, if you could address this young couple's issues with the fences. I don't believe planting the replacement shrubs should impact anything to do with the fences, since they've been able to work around what we got. But to leave them, if they're in as bad a shape as she's indicated they are, and I know you've seen some that are
Oh, yeah.
really terrible, I think we ought to do something.
There's a lot of them that
I think we need to do
I want
something
to get them
about it.
fixed.
I sent you
mean,
an
that's-
email last week with one on my way that's totally dead, totally.
Well, and
Totally
plus,
dead.
we're continually replacing hedges this year.
Right.
Last year, I couldn't tell you how many I approved.
Right,
So
right.
it'll get done. But like Mary Lou said, in the spring is the best time, and that's when you'll start to see that. What I would expect Randall to do is what David did, is he would take pictures
Right.
and include them with his email to me with a bid. And when you look at them, absolutely, they need replaced, So that's the procedure, but we'll definitely take care of them for
Can I
you.
just say that we did request this last year before the wet season, so we've already I understand it's not gonna happen again until the wet season comes, but I would love to have them removed, because.
Well, I don't know, did you put in a request to the management company?
Yes, we spoke to, and we have an email from, it was David.
David.
Okay, well then, he didn't convey it to me, or it would have been done,
Oh my
so.
God, it's...
I think you really
I
want
think
to
we'll
wait
have a
right now
lot
until we
better
get through
success
this
with
little
that.
winter early spell, because if you do put new shrubs in and we get a frost, you're gonna lose it. And I'm talking from
Yeah.
experience,
Yeah.
because when I bought here 35 years ago, in June of '85,
Right,
that winter we had a frost,
right,
and I lost my entire front hedge. And
right.
it took the
I'll
association
talk after.
35 years to allow them to grow back where they are, okay?
I think she just wants them removed.
She just wants them removed.
Her point right now is
Excuse me, everybody.
Well, I don't know if the Google's gonna make it
Hold on,
better.
one quick thing. I don't think it's unreasonable for you to ask to have them removed now, because they're dead and infected, okay? And then that will also leave your fence, which is undone, easily being power washed, boards replaced, primed and painted. And then when that's all done, ideally by March 15th, let's say, I'm a dreamer, then you would get a new hedge. That to me is fair, and if you want to put that in writing and blame me, that's fine. But to me, that's fair to have it. I would take out the hedge now too, if it's totally dead. Randall, take a look at it. If it's dead, he'll have Edva. Edva can remove that. We don't have to pay some landscape company to remove the hedge. That's simple to do.
No, Edva can
Especially
take it.
20 minutes.
Go ahead, you were saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've already sold several.
Yeah.
So when there's maintenance requests, Rand, I guess I'll throw this at you, reasonable time for, turnaround time when we submit through the portal? would be-
Depends what it is.
Yeah, right, so within a week or so or something, just to get back to you to tell you when it's done. I mean, I'm not expecting it right away.
I'm typically, I'm within 24 hours, you're going to hear at least something.
Okay.
And then depending on what we're talking about, how we can get somebody out there, it just depends on the issue.
Right,
The
so
plumbing
it's
issues are ASAP.
Well,
Yeah.
What's your
that's
name?
the-
Jim
Jim, what?
Merlin.
Oh,
5730.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if you had met.
So, no, not yet. Anyway, no, I was just curious how that works, and that's, oh, yeah, we need some paint, actually, or somebody to put a
Thank you for
grill.
coming. Randall,
The
good luck.
inside,
Where are you going?
I have to leave.
All right.
But good luck.
You
yeah.
say you
What's
need
that?
paint?
The boys.
Yeah, the exterior
Thank you.
wall where someone had grilled, they kind of charcoaled it, so.
Edgar,
Oh, didn't I talk to you?
You
I
talked
think
to
talk
me.
to Jill.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So,
and
People were supposed to bring some.
He
leave it.
didn't bring some yet? Because I did ask him to bring some wall paint over.
probably go over there later, I didn't see it today.
No. I asked him a few days. When did I talk to you? It was a few days ago. I asked him to bring over.
Edva?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll get with them
Okay,
tomorrow.
no, that's fine.
Okay, so on that point,
Because you wanted enough paint to do the whole
The
wall.
whole exterior.
Yeah.
Well, not the entire exterior, but the one wall that
Yeah, so it
has.
doesn't look odd,
Yeah.
The whole first,
The concrete,
yeah.
Yes.
the beige, Bahama beige is the color.
Is it? It's orange.
Yes.
yeah, I was gonna say,
No, it's Bahama beige is the color.
you used to have the color codes, I think, on the old website for like the doors and I think the exterior walls.
Yes.
I couldn't find them on the new website. I'm not sure if they're just not uploaded yet or,
Well, there's not a new website.
well, yeah, it's just the
Yeah.
portal, I know, but
I
like, there's no
have,
documents, I guess, in that
Is that
regard.
information on the portal or not?
No, not yet.
Not
We're
yet.
still.
Okay, I just.
Okay.
Are
You
we
know.
getting a website?
I'm hoping we do.
Basically, Pay HOA is going to have everything you pretty much need. It's going to have your documents. It's going to have.
But you have to be
Applic-
a resident in order to
What's
register.
done right now,
Yeah.
We're not gonna have a
it's
website.
one code, so it's easy.
See, renters can look at a website, they just can't read like financials.
How do people from the outside, like a renter,
Yeah.
we used to have the application fee, the sales application, and all of that available to people
Sir?
without having to be a resident.
Well, the owner
at
who
least-
rents that property out can provide that to them by way of.
A sale, a lease application and all
Yeah, it's
that.
all going to be
But
on.
we always used to be more accommodating.
Right, right. I think, I agree
Those
with
stuff-
Pam, we should have our own website. HOAs, Village of Santa
Well,
Village,
right
South
now,
HOA.
that's, I mean, maybe down the
Maybe
line we
we'll
can
run.
do that, but
You
you
will
know,
run,
right
we
now,
will run.
that's
We need-
the system
it's
that
so
we
much
have in
work,
place
not to
in
mention-
order
That's why I
to.
said, are we
How they
going
can,
to?
Well,
somebody
We've always
manage
had-
I
themselves.
can't say for sure,
When
but
we
it's more than one
self-managed,
person.
we had one, the
You
property
only have one
manager
person.
managed it.
I'd like.
Got a lot of
Sam,
talking
you have a
here.
question?
Easy.
Everyone done? Because I always want other people to ask. I always have my big mouth open, so. I want an answer as far as the white flies. Are we going to do something about it? Because they are getting
Yeah.
horrible.
They were-
Didn't you just hear, I asked him to contact Brightview and discuss the issue with them and
Right.
get back to us on it regarding.
But
No, I didn't, Joe.
Oh, I'm sorry, you misheard me then.
yeah, but
I
they
didn't
already
hear
two
you, I
times.
just didn't hear you.
They during 3 months they spray 2 times. They spray hedges. You remember I even complained that they never notify owners to don't walk the dogs. They walk and spray all hedges everywhere. What they did? White silk white fly. They did it 2 times.
Number one, the white flies is a totally different.
No, but
type
this is
of-
what they did it.
thing.
Yeah,
The
but
guys that are our landscape company. or
Right.
this
whoever
is
it
landscape
this
company was spraying. I saw I witnessed
Okay,
them.
okay, all right.
They sprayed
The land-
against white fly. What they say me.
No, it's not. It can't be.
I
because-
asked the guy who is spraying. I told what you spraying. He told from white flies. And I wrote everybody board. I told
Yeah.
why did you not
Did you
notify?
get a bill for having them exterminate for white flies?
It must be who? The treasurer must
Do you
go.
believe?
Well, wait till we
Rachel,
get
or
the
do you
December
believe the guys
financial
But what they spray for? What they spray
See
for?
all the
You're on the board. You sent
Yeah,
the
but
information.
this is what I asked. I asked what they spray for. I wrote everybody.
Maybe the guy just said that because he didn't.
No,
know what
but
else
he
to say.
spray hedges for all over community. What he did?
Weeds.
Natalie,
We-
Talia,
On hedges.
Okay,
Talia.
okay.
He's
It's time for the
Let's lower,
residents to
lower.
talk.
Yes.
One second, I want.
You
It's
can
simple.
have
I
your
read
time,
it too.
You're on the board. You can email everybody and ask everybody.
But they-
later.
No wonder they don't hear you because there's too many people talking.
Well, you need to speak up and say something.
To me, I feel that regardless of if you've seen somebody spray or not, there's an issue with white flies. Instead of arguing,
Thank you.
just go ahead, okay, let's call somebody, let's
they're
get rid
gonna
of
do
it.
that.
Let's not debate
I
about
did
it.
it.
Let's
I
get
asked
rid of it.
everybody. Did I send you email? I sent. No one from you
Okay, so
answered.
we're not talking about the past. Now we're talking about
It was
now.
last month.
Okay.
It was last month.
Last
And
month
I'd
is
like
the
to know
past.
Since Edva is just primarily power washing these days,
He can,
well, no, he is.
right.
Is he going to be, last time I asked David this question, he said he wasn't sure when he would be getting to our way. He had no idea where his next way was going to be. It was just kind of like, yeah, he'll get to your way eventually.
Well, he's
So-
been doing, I know that in the past, prior to this month, because I asked the same question because my driveway and everything is filthy and I'm tired of paying my guy $100 to do it. I'd like the the association to pay it out once in a while. But anyway, the point is, Edva was apparently being told by David to power wash certain areas that were problematic. Or maybe where an owner put in a request that their parking spaces drive
That
down.
wasn't his response, Mary.
Well, trip and fall was a big issue. I know we were power
Well,
washing.
let me
But
just
that's all
address
I know.
this as far as Ed the power washing. If he's gonna be our power washer, that's all he's gonna get done doing is power washing, and it's gonna, by the time he finishes, it'll be time to start over again.
Exactly.
So we will get some bids on getting our property cleaned.
Thank you.
But
Thank
we
you
just
very much,
did it
Mary.
less than a year
I'm
ago.
thrilled to hear that.
Mary Lou, it's been over a year. It seems
It's
like
been
it's
well
been
over
less.
a year. The
It's
last
a
time
year and a half.
was that company you found on Angie's list called ET. They came in, did a mediocre job, but that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, at least a year and a half. which is- yeah.
Can I ask a question?
No, you can't ask me.
I am-
It's the
resident.
owners. It's the
I am-
owners. It's the owners.
I know you are, but it's interrupted.
Some board, you know, I leave my gavel at home and then I have an open
Excuse
meeting.
me. We have 2 owners here. You haven't asked a question. We would love you to. You've lived here forever. You don't have you haven't asked a question tonight. You're another longtime owner. Do you have one?
Well, I asked about Buckeyes, so you get it back up on a Sunday morning, what's gonna happen?
They're gonna come
Sitting
out and take care of it.
Yes.
On a
There's-
Sunday morning?
On a
Yes.
Sunday morning,
Yeah.
they'll come out. Buckeye,
Yeah.
this is the reason we have to repay a couple of people on 6607 and 60.
Right.
Because we called Buckeye on a Saturday night. The guy came out and looked. He says, "Oh, he couldn't dig it up. He needs the backhoe, and he couldn't get it till Monday morning." Well, as soon as I heard about that from David, I said, "Set up a meeting with Buckeye." They came to my home. We sat down at the kitchen table, and I made it clear to them, if you can't be here when we need you, we don't need you. We pay you a lot of money, and we expect service. He said, "Larry, I'm making a commitment that'll never happen again," and that guy's going to hear it plenty. He says, all he needed to do was request it, and it would have been sent out. He just didn't want to do it on a Saturday night. So, and now we have to reimburse a couple people because it wasn't their fault. They had to get some results. I didn't find out about it until 2 days later, but I took care of it.
It's water.
Yeah.
Then you have to start cutting the sheetrock and all kinds of
No,
stuff.
I understand. Yeah, no, it's imperative, and I said, either you're going to be our company when we need you, or you're not going to be our company. He said, "We'll be there when you need us, I promise you." So that's who we work with.
And that's why on the new papers that you get in the mail, hopefully the next couple of days, there's the emergency phone number that you will have. So on a Saturday night or a Sunday or whatever.
It's on
you
the
have a-
bullet, it's on the bulletin boards. It's been,
And it's on the
been
bulletin
on
boards,
the
if you can
Is
read.
it a new emergency number?
Yes, everything's new, everything is new. If you can read the small print on the top two sheets of paper, it's
Because my
impossible.
neighbor had it back up. No one
And bigger
responded.
print on those, yeah.
Well, they'll be full in a minute.
Yeah, but
Well, first of all, the main information that people need to read, which is all the contact information, is up here.
And-
And if you're, have a bulletin board that's on one of those little
mounds like.
mounds,
Yep.
and you're only 5 feet tall, you're not gonna be able to see it. And it's not bold, it's very light print.
Right.
That it
So-
is.
It was done quickly.
That it is, that's true.
So I'm just saying, nicely,
Well, look,
You
I'm
see, Joe, I'm being
five,
nice.
I'm 5'5"
Always.
to read those two top. I have to put on my glasses, then I hold on to the two sides of the bulletin board and I climb up onto the, as you're saying, the raised. Then I'm able to read the two top notices. And I'm 5'5", next to the mailbox, hold on to the bulletin board.
But when I criticize the guy who installed that, you did not support me, so he redo the job. And now everybody cannot read what is written. Do you remember how many times I
Yes.
told it's too high and he
They
needed to redo the
they
job?
lowered mine, but it's
They
still
did not. They
ridiculous.
still did not lower, and many people cannot read. They just, yeah.
Well, that's why I kept saying bigger print, bright paper, bolder
They
print.
really want us
If
out
the
there.
print is,
Yeah. Wes, the realtors often advertise the cable. I know there isn't any, but is that still, that's off the board? There's no Xfinity contract? or-
That's a different community.
Oh, okay.
It's
See a lot of
the
realtors.
HOA that's similarly named to the Northwest has it.
All right,
Sandalwood
so-
Lakes North.
No.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with us.
Okay, good. All right.
Okay, does anybody else have any other questions?
Make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
All in favor? Aye. All right, thank you for coming.